Hey everyone, it's Michael, aka Beep Seeker. So, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. I've got some really cool stuff coming up. Have a lot of awesome permissions that I haven't got to hunt yet that I'm going to be hunting here soon. And I just wanted to share with you guys today how I do research on properties because the town that I live in, it is pretty developed. So it's really hard finding older spots here that haven't been, developed and paved over and there's a store there or something. You guys know how it is. So I do generally travel outside of my town a lot, and being that I'm going to be driving for a ways, I'd like to do a lot of research before I make this long drive to go, potentially find something or not find something. So the more information you have, the better. So I just want to share with you some resources that I use and try to explain to you how to use them as well the best that I can. So just watch the video and I will try to be as informative with you guys and share some things that a lot of people typically may not know about and that can help you find some of these sites in the future. And it's a lot of fun as well, so you'll have a lot of fun working with these sites and with these different resources. And if you're like me and you love history, there's a lot of really cool stuff that I'm going to show you. So let's get started. Alright guys, so right now we have a site called Historic Ariels. And a lot of people already know about this site. A lot of you just starting out in the metal detecting, you may not know about this, but you're going to go up here and you're going to type in, I just usually type in historicariels.com and it pulls up. And then you'll come to this screen right here and you'll click on View Imagery. You'll click right here on Viewer. My computer can sometimes be a little bit slow, but just give it a second. If you want, sometimes it'll pop up. It'll ask you for your location. You can allow it, you can block it, whatever. If you click allow, it's going to pop you up where you live. So right now I'm just going to block that. And you can type in right here where you want to investigate. So just for kicks, let's type in Georgia. My caps lock is on, but that don't matter. So let's type that in because I know it goes back in date range. So right now we're on where it says map. It's clicked on just the generic map of the town. So, and then you can click on the years right here of the aerial views, and also at the bottom you have topographical maps, which can come in handy too. Sometimes they'll go back further than the actual aerial view maps. So just as an example, I'm going to come down here and show you this area right here. So we'll click on 2015, and this is going to show you an aerial map of what we're looking at here. And you can see ball fields, different things. This is a park that I've hunted at several times. So, and what you can do, you can click back through the years or whatever you want to look at, and some of them are going to be a little bit fuzzy, but what I've noticed is the oldest maps are usually pretty clear. So you can click here and you can see the aerial of the site, whatever date you click. Now it's going to have these watermarks in here that can be a little bit annoying, but for the most part, and so you can zoom in. So, and also this helps you with your research because I've researched this place a lot. This is a good starting point, but this right here was a racetrack back in the 20s. Not really sure what this was, but now you can go over here, click 2015, and now it's a ball field. So even though you're like it's just a park, whatever, this site comes in handy being able to see what it was back in time. Also, there are some filters over here you can click. These are the overlays, so you can click roads and then it'll pop up the roads, show you street names, things like that. You can take that off, clicking that X. I don't really use these a lot. Mostly if I'm going to use them, I'm going to use these roads. And up here, these are different layer comparison tools. So you can, like you can click this one and you'll see 2015 over here. Then you can come over here to this side. And if you want to click 1947, if you do that, then you can just kind of, and these are actually pretty dang accurate as far as the overlays. I mean, you can see the road to the left of the bubble right here, and back then there's the road. I mean, look how accurate that was. I don't really use this one. This is the one I use right here. This is dissolve. So what you do is you click that, and I got it on 1947. There's a slide bar up here. So you can take that and, yeah, let me click over here. Sometimes it can be a pain. So you notice how it fades in and out. There's also the slide tool. I use it a good bit as well. And you notice it puts it in the middle. And you can just slide it, and you can see like that. That way you don't have to continuously come over here and just click back and forth from that time and guess at the spot. You can say, hold on one second. You can say, okay, well, there's the racetrack. What was where the racetrack was? Okay, it was right on the outside of the ball field. And that's how you know where it was. Now, this is really helpful when looking at old homes. So let's take that off for a second. Slide back out. And if you come over here, this area is a really good example. And you can, the only problem with this is in certain towns and certain areas, the map doesn't go back as far as like this. I've seen it go back as far as the early 40s, maybe late 30s. But I mean, think about it. Back then, some of these homes from the 1800s and different things, they were still standing. And today, you know, they're gone. So this is kind of an example right here of what I mean by that. So if you notice this area right here, where the it's pretty much just empty land. So I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to have it on 1947. Now you see it. Watch. All those homes, empty land. You see that? That's extremely helpful in knowing where some of these old home sites are. So you can actually use this site on your mobile phone as well. It's a little bit more of a pain in the butt, but if you're out actually hunting and you're on the site and you kind of want to take a look at it while you're out there, it can be a little bit tricky, but you can pull up historical aerials on your web browser on your phone and still use it as well. But just be wary that it can be a pain, but I've been able to manage it out in the field. So now I want to show you the next place. So we're going to click on this qpublic.net. Now, this area, a resource that I like to use, you can find actual, you know, who owns the property. You can see if it's city property, county, state. You can find out the individuals of who, you know, who owns a property, and it's really good for helping to get permission. So I'll click on Georgia, and I'm just gonna, just for instance, just go back to where we were. So where is it at? So we're gonna go to Spalding, and up here, you can't just type qpublic.net. You need to type in qpublic.schneidercorp.com. That, if you type that in, it's going to bring you right here. You could pick your state, your county, and this is nationwide, so all of you guys should be able to locate something. So Sorry if you hear the dogs playing in the background. It's storming out here, and they're a little bit pent up. So you'll click this. It's just a disclaimer. All right, so it'll pull you up to here. Here's all the surrounding counties. This is Spalding County, so we're going to zoom in, and we're going to see if we can find the area we just were, which should be right here. This may be a little bit slow, but it'll work. Okay, so this is going to show you, you see all these black lines? These are the outlines of the parcels. So basically what we're looking at, see, here's the ball field. We can, these squared off areas, you can click them and it'll pull up the owners. So we know this is City of Griffin, this is a park. You can come down here to report, click on that, it'll pull up a report of the land. So it's address, description, tells you the owner right here. If this was private property, it would tell you the actual name of the current owner of the property. It would give you their current address, even though, you know, it's not giving you the address of what you're clicking on. It's the actual address of the person that owns it. So, and you can come down here and it tells you the different buildings on the property. If this was private property and there was a house, it would, and it was still standing, it would show you the year it was built. This is 1960. See this year built, 1995, 2000. Tells you if they built, you know, little pools or sheds and things like that. Sometimes it has some photos you can click through. If it's the house, generally it'll have a photo of the house. I really like to look at this because I've seen some houses from like the 1820s and 30s on here, and there's been some empty land. You can just click back and it'll take you back to the map. It'll tell you, you know, where they live and who owns it and different things like that. And I've been able to, this is one thing that's really helpful because I've been able to find the owner's name for one particular property that I haven't hunted yet, and find the guy's name. I've went on Facebook and typed the guy's name in, found the guy, messaged him, asked him permission through, you know, Messenger, and just said, hey, you know, this is my hobby, and you know, I researched the county maps and found your name on a piece of property that I was interested in, and that, you know, I'm very respectful, and this is just something for fun, and I wanted to see if you would care if I would, you know, could go on your property and just look around for some coins and different things like that, and that I'm investigating property in the vicinity and have permission to hunt those areas. And he was cool with it. He told me that, you know, he gave me a time frame on when I could be there, and he actually lived in a different state. But it's just, even if they're in a different state, just try to research the best you can to find out who the owner is and contact them so that you can get permission. And a lot of the time, they're not going to care. Just don't be pushy about it, and just be very respectful and tell them that you're going to respect their property and that you're not going to destroy it, and just kind of tell them what they do, and just say, hey, I'll post what I find on Facebook sometimes, and if you want to add me as a friend, you know, then you can see some of the things that, you know, I'm finding, and different things like that. It's just a good way to get started on permissions without having to drive out somewhere and knock on somebody's door and talk to them face to face and feel uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with finding them and sending them a message, and, you know, just asking. So, but here's one of those lots that doesn't have the houses on it anymore. So we'll click on the report. Notice there's no houses there. Now, being that there's no houses there now, it's not going to show you the houses that we're standing. It's not going to give you a year built or anything. If it doesn't have a building on it now, it's not going to give you info on the building from the past. So it'll tell you how many acres you're looking at on that parcel, and there's sales. It gives you a history of the sales. So this goes back to 73, tells you who bought it from who, tells you why right here. So it's really cool to be able to go back and research this stuff and have this information. It's an extremely valuable resource to be able to use. So like I said, you want to go to up here, make sure you type that in just like that, because QPublic is a huge web-based organization. So if you type in something wrong, there's something else with QPublic it's going to take you to, and it's going to be really confusing to get back to this. So anyways, I wanted to show you something else real quick. We're going to go here. This is a really fun tool that I love to use to research different areas. This is the US GemWeb Archives. So this is a page built up of different people that have had information throughout the past that they've used to, this is like a database. So old newspapers and different things like that that are going to be destroyed over time, or just historical info. This is a really good site to be able to use. So let's see if we can find, just go to, we'll go to Henry. 2 seconds. Let's go back here again. Here we go. So yeah, don't type in, don't go down here and click your state in the middle or over here. Come over to the table of contents, and I'll click on Georgia table of contents. So right, it's going to bring you to this page, and you're going to find your county. Now this is statewide. You can look up any state, any county in any state, so all you guys can use it. They're in the US. Once again, go up here, go to usgwarchives.net, and it'll bring you up to that first page. Click table of contents, click on your state, and come down here. Let's go to Henry. Okay, now this is some of the stuff you can look at. You can look at different addresses that have been put in the database, cemetery records, court records, military photographs, vitals. I mean, you can see all this stuff in here that you get to see. And this stuff goes way back in time. So like newspapers. This is something really fun that I like to look at. So you can go to newspapers. Over here on the left, under description, you can see kind of a little title to what the newspaper was talking about. So we'll look for something neat real quick. My apologies. There's lots of stuff in here about the Civil War, like this is Confederate Roll of Company H. You can read through this stuff. Like this is just the roll call of all the names of the soldiers that were in that newspaper for that company. Let's see. There was one that I loved to read in here. Now you got to understand, a lot of these are back in time, back in the 1800s, and things were different back then. And you're going to see some stuff that are going to be a little bit touchy these days on these sites. So just be wary of that. But let's see, like this one right here under the mulberry tree. This story was just so awesome to me. And this was about a mulberry tree in my town that a lot of the political figures and people running for presidents, and there was murder plots and all kinds of things that happened under this one specific tree in the county. And me and some buddies are currently trying to figure out where this tree was, or if it's still standing. and just the story on this tree was awesome. And even if, you know, the tree was standing and it was nothing but concrete around it, just being able to see this tree in person or be on the spot that the tree stood and know, you know, through this newspaper what all happened historically, where that tree was, would just be awesome. I mean, I'm just a history person, so I love this kind of stuff. But I think there's a spot. Let me just go back. Let me go back again. Photographs. So, like, you can click over here. Now, if you go to photographs, this is the text and description about it, where you can click and read about the photograph. You actually have to go over here to photo link. And these are the images. So let's see. This is 1878. So if you want to see the picture, click here. And then to be able to read a description about it, you would come over here, click here, and it kind of tells you about the photograph. And sometimes the people that put this stuff in database, they're looking for people to kind of read into it to see if they know any info about the picture as well. So this dog drinking water in the background. But another thing that I like to use, and I'm going to minimize this, and we're going to go to Google Earth. So, like I said, my computer's a little slow. This is a decent tool that you can use here too, and a lot of people don't know about some of this stuff in Google Earth. So let's type in Griffin, Georgia. It's gonna take me to Griffin. Okay, just bear with me. It'll take a second to load up. All right, so if you look down here, here's your different layers again. Don't care about roads. Photos and gallery, leave those on. Everything else I generally turn off. You see all these different photos, these little blips. These are all photographs that people just like you and me take on their phones, and then they load them up into Google Maps, and they can actually have like the spots in their phone. Like if they're in Maps and they take a picture, they can load it up from where they're standing, and it puts like the actual place that they're at and loads it up on the map. So not only is there photographs, like just sometimes it's nothing, but like this, it's an old house there. But let's see. Okay, so we'll zoom down here. I know this area pretty well. You can come up here and like this little information bubble. So we'll click on it. Boom. This tells me this was a Confederate camp from Sherman's March through Georgia Tour. So you could see that. This right here, this was a Confederate camp. You know, same thing there. And you can come down here. There's more information blips. And I thought these were pretty neat. Let's see. So this is from the Walking Dead locations. They put like filming locations from the Walking Dead. That's what a lot of these are. Walking Dead location. Let's click on this photo here. Original 1851 to 1885 at Doc Holliday's Saloon. So Doc Holliday was from this town. I actually got to metal detect on the property that his father owned a house on, and he was a kid at that time. But yeah, and Google Earth is pretty detailed on the images, a little bit better than the historic Ariels and stuff. I looked up here, and you can go to view and you can click on historical imagery, but I haven't really found a town yet where this really goes back. So, like, as far as this lets me go back is 1993, and that's only like certain areas. So, like all this greened out area, you can't see that in 1993. You can only see, like this part here. That's not really helpful to me. But I haven't done a whole lot of research on how far back Google goes in different towns. So I like to use that. So I hope you guys found this video useful. I'll be doing many more in the future like this and just following up on different things I learn over time and as I think of things that I usually do as well. But didn't want to make a super long video. But I should have a new video out sometime later next week. I go hunting every week, and I'm really happy to share with you guys the finds that I come up with. But I will get back with you guys next time.